So the US and Canada are major producers of wood pellets, and they're major exporters as well. Now, the global demand for wood pellets is growing, and in order to meet this demand, we're expecting substantial capacity expansions in US and Canada over the next few years. Enviva is planning to double its capacity from its current 6.2 million tons to 13 million tons over the next 5 years. In this pursuit, it is currently ramping up its mill in Lucedale, Mississippi. It is also constructing a mill in Epes, Alabama, which will have a capacity of 1.1 million tons once it is done. And that will be the world's biggest pellet mill. Similarly, it has plans to construct 5 more similar pellet plants in the US South. Now, Drax, which is the other big producer, also has big capacity expansion ambitions. It is planning to expand its capacity from 5 million tons to 8 million tons by 2030. It had recently started operations at a mill in Arkansas, which had a capacity of 40,000 tons, and it has 2 more similar mills under construction in the south. Another pellet producer that is currently building a pellet plant is Renewable Biomass Group, which has a project underway in Georgia. Now, coming to Canada, Peak Renewables is constructing a big pellet mill in BC, and Groupe Lebel also announced a recent project in Quebec. So, overall, there are several projects in US and Canada that we expect a ramp up over the next few years. Now, demand for wood pellets is, growing continually. It has been growing over the last few years, and we expect it to grow over the next several years as well. Primarily, wood pellets are used for power generation to replace coal, as well as for heat generation. Now, Europe is the biggest consumer of wood pellets, and US and Canada are major suppliers to Western Europe. Now, coming to recent developments, the European Union imported around 3 million tons of wood pellets from Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus in 2021. Now, with the war, this supply is no longer available, and subsequently, we are seeing that EU is increasing their imports from US and Canada. And in fact, the EU imports from US and Canada through May increased 30% in 2022 compared to their level in 2021. There's also substantial demand from Asia, primarily from Japan and South Korea. Now, Taiwan is also an emerging market, and we could potentially see demand growth in the coming years. The demand is again for primarily power generation in these markets. Now, a new avenue of where wood pellet demand is growing or could potentially grow is industrial applications. So this is, So in this sector, wood pellets is used to replace fossil fuels and generate green heat in manufacturing processes. Another potential demand is, wood pellets being used for the production of biofuels. These are currently emerging avenues, but we could see growth in the medium and long term in these sectors. Well, coming to biomass power generation, this has gained a lot of traction globally, especially in Europe and in certain Asian markets. But domestically, we have not seen much development as such. Coming to the US, power generation from wood and wood-derived fuels had a positive growth in 2021 after suffering declines from 2018 onwards. And it grew 2.7% in 2021. But despite this positive uptick, the net generation from wood still made up less than 1% of total net generation. Similarly, in Canada, biomass still makes up a small percentage of total power produced. In comparison, for instance, in the UK, in 2020, 12% of electricity produced in the UK was from biomass. So we are, behind. We are behind in that terms, and the major headwind that we have is the lack of policy support. And unless something drastically changes, biomass, the share of biomass in power generation in North America would continue to be modest.